All right, let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about the 7 key benefits to psychological safety exercises. And this is something that can have a profound effect with the people that you're working with. Not too long ago, I was working with a very large international tech company. And after our session, which was a lot about creating safety in the space, a woman comes up to me and she goes, "Thank you so much. This is the first time I've been able to actually articulate the issues and the challenges that I have in the workspace." And so I want to start figuring out, how can I talk to other people about the biases that they have against me as a woman of color. This is the first time I started to identify language in which I can talk about this stuff. I've been working with organizations in the US for over 20 years, and I've never felt like I've had a space to actually talk about any of my experiences. That was one of the best gifts I've gotten in a long time, for someone to feel safe enough to have that conversation with me. And so that's really what you can get to, the heart of these issues, these challenges, these areas where people don't feel comfortable to open up and share. So I want to talk about the more tangible benefits here when we create this really safe space. And the first thing I want to talk about is this idea that it's not psychological safety is not about being nice. It's about creating a space where we can actually have productive disagreement. That's one of the biggest benefits of creating psychological safety and having exercises that create safe spaces, where I can talk to you and you have a very different opinion and I have a very different opinion, and we can come together and not start harming one another, but start looking at these different perspectives and get a clearer picture of the whole scenario. So that's going to be one of the beautiful things of when you do psychological safety exercises, where you will be able to feel more comfortable having productive disagreement. Again, it's not about this just being nice, this toxic positivity. It's really about being honest and upfront and being able to disagree and know that it's going to be okay, that the relationship is fine. I don't look less on you, you don't look less on me, but now we have a better understanding of each other. Now we're able to really empathize with the other person. And so you get to really see one another when you start creating those spaces. And the second thing is, going off of that, is that it starts opening up the conversation. When people start feeling safe to share, to speak up, to have conversations, especially about things that are difficult, they now can start opening up the conversation. We can now start having a better, clear picture of all the stuff that's going on, all the different departments, all the different perspective, all the different insensitives? That's not the word. Incentives, that's the word. And so insensitive. All the incentives that are in place and how they might even conflict with other departments, and so on and so on and so on. So you really get to open up the closet and pull out those skeletons and have a full conversation about everything that's happening. When you have the right psychological safety exercises, it really allows for the conversation to open up fully. The other beautiful thing about when you're doing these type of safe exercises, people start feeling more creative. Because one of the elements of creativity is just sheer number of ideas, just sheer number. And so if I don't feel comfortable sharing, I'm not going to be giving you all the ideas that I have. And it's in those ideas, in when people feel like they can actually share without being put down, judged, or anything like that, where when they get to share all these ideas, that's where we start getting more creative. That's where we start thinking outside of the box, because we are now open to new, weird, interesting, different ideas, and we're not going to judge each other for them. And so that's where the creativity starts to come in. The more safe that I feel, the more wild and crazy I can get with my ideas, and then the more we can actually do something interesting rather than just doing what's obvious. And that's one of the cool things when you have those particular types of exercises. And now that you're doing these type of exercises of the safety, that's where people can now start feeling comfortable taking more risks. Where people know that, okay, I could try something new, I could try something a little different. Hopefully to really grow as an organization, to help better provide value to our customers, to help our internal team communicate better or do better practices, whatever it might be. But you get the opportunity to try new things and take risks. See, if you're in a non-safe environment, you're not going to be able to take risks. There's a great study done by Amy Edmondson where she looked at the high-performing teams in hospitals. The question that she was trying to figure out is, do high-performing teams make more mistakes or less mistakes? And what they found out was that at first it looked like high-performing teams made more mistakes, which was really odd to her. So she dove in deeper. She learned that it wasn't that they made more mistakes necessarily. It was that they were willing to admit and be open about more of those mistakes because they felt comfortable taking risks. And here comes the next part of one of the beautiful benefits of doing these safe exercises is that people start learning from one another. It speeds up the learning process as a whole. So if I made a mistake, I'm not just going to try to keep it to myself and not let anybody know. If I feel safe, I'm going to let my team members know, hey, I tried this and it did not work at all. And so now everyone gets to learn from those risks, from those mistakes, from those whatever that is. Because now people are being more open and willing to share the flawedness of who they are and what they've done. And so that now we all get to learn, okay, so that doesn't work in that way. Cool. Now I don't have to go and make that mistake. And we can work to try to find something that might be a little bit more creative, a little bit more risky, and potentially a lot more value because we created those safe exercises. And another beautiful thing about creating those safe exercises is the reduction of turnover. When you have consistent, psychologically safe exercises that you're working with your team, people are less likely to want to leave. I worked with an organization, another different organization from what I talked about before, again, international, where I think it was within the first 6 months, their turnover rate was 106%. They were losing more people than they were able to keep. And a lot of it was because a lot of people did not feel comfortable around their managers. They didn't feel like that they could be honest with their managers. They didn't feel like their managers had their best intent in mind, best interest in mind. And so we worked with them to change that, to help people feel more comfortable with their managers, to help managers learn the skills of how to create a safer environment with these safe exercises. And within several months, they reduced it to 95%. So going from 106 to 95 might not sound like a lot, but in a large international organization, that's a big change, and it shows that we're moving in the right direction. So that's the beauty of creating psychologically safe exercises with your teams and the ways that you work with one another, is that I feel safe, so I'm not going to look for something else. I'm not going to go start looking on LinkedIn and Indeed for another job because I feel safe here. But if you don't feel safe, you're probably going to look for another place to go. And so it really helps reduce the turnover. And now the final thing that I'll share about the benefits of doing psychological safety exercises is really about building trust. It really helps people to feel more comfortable that, okay, not only do I feel like I can open up, but now I can start relying on this person. Now I can be aware that, okay, if they say they're going to do something, I have more trust and faith and confidence that they'll be able to do it. So if you work on these psychological safety exercises of creating safe spaces with your teams, then that also builds the trust, and people have more trust rather than not really feeling confident about one another, and so working more in silos and being more disengaged. So those are the 7 benefits of working with psychological safety exercises to put into the space to help create more safety with your team. And if you're really interested to learn more about this, we have a really great free resource that talks about how to get teams to really engage and open up with one another. So if you're really looking to get some of these benefits that we talked about and have much more collaborative and productive and just happier teams, go ahead and click on the link down below and download your free resource on really getting teams to open up, to engage with one another, to have happier lives, and get more things done. So I hope this was really helpful for you. I just want to say thank you for taking the time for watching this, and have a great day.